Hello everybody, welcome back to Certified Collectibles. This is another episode of First Appearance of the Week. This is Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. We'll be giving you all the first appearance in your comic shops today. Now this week we got a pretty good line for you guys. I think we have 4 first appearances, 3 honorable mentions, so 7 titles all to go through. Definitely some books in there you guys should pick up for your collection. So let's go ahead and get started for the first appearance of the week, beginning October 31st, 2025. First up from Marvel Comics, Expatriate X-Men #1. This features the first appearance of Leaderbird. This also features the first team appearance of a new X-Men team. This is Miss Marvel, Bronze, Melee, and Rift. I've been reminding you guys over the past few months, now that Marvel Disney have the cinematic rights to the X-Men again, you can definitely expect some projects to be hitting the small screen, big screen here soon. And if Marvel pulls some of these characters from these new comics onto the screen, you can be sure collectors are going to race back to the secondary market to try to find those first appearances. With all that being said, still always a good idea to pick up the first appearance of new characters in Marvel Comics anyway, because Marvel Disney is still sharing a ton of media, whether it's TV shows, streaming series, or feature films, and you definitely don't want to miss out on any of these characters if they do bring these characters to the screen. And this one here does have a first appearance and a first team appearance, so this issue here does have quite a few things going for it. In my opinion, this here is a great pickup. Grab this here for your collection. Next up from Marvel Comics, Undeadpool #1. This features the first appearance of Magni. Also the first appearance of Fantastica, the first appearance of Kid Man-Thing, and the first appearance of Fearless. This one here, a lot of first appearances here. You have 4 first appearances in this issue, and this here is kind of a take on Deadpool. This is Undeadpool. I don't know their plans for this particular series. I don't know if this is just a one-off, a mini-series, or if they plan to keep this series going. To me, this here sounds like kind of a Halloween release, but at this point, there's really no more information on it. Like I said, this here is a take on Deadpool. Huge fan base and collector base for the Deadpool franchise, and this issue here does have 4 first appearances. In my opinion, even if this is a seasonal issue or a mini-series, it's probably one you don't want to miss with this many first appearances. Another one we do think you should pick up for your collection, go ahead and grab this one. Next up from Marvel Comics, Venom, Black, White, and Blood #3. This features the first appearance of Samurai Symbiote. This also features the first appearance of Crimson Carnage. Now, like I always remind you guys about the Venom titles, Venom is part of the Spider-Man universe. Spider-Man universe, incredibly huge fan base for that whole universe. Anytime they introduce a new character into that global universe, these are definitely books you do want to consider. And Venom has a huge fan base on its own right. People love the Venom character, huge fan base and collector base, fan favorite character. So anytime they introduce a new character into the Venom title series, these are books you probably want to pick up. And even though this here Venom, Black, White, and Blood is kind of a spin-off or offshoot series of the original Venom title, they are introducing a few new characters. This is part of the Spider-Man universe. This one here does have quite a few things going for it. In my opinion, another great pickup. Grab this here for your collection. And finally from Marvel Comics, X-Vengers #1. This features the first appearance of Variable Man, a member of the X-Vengers. This here is also the premiere issue of this title series. Now this one here, once again, in my opinion, probably always worth picking up the first appearance of new characters in Marvel titles. And this here is the premiere issue of this new series, X-Vengers. And just like Undeadpool that I mentioned earlier, don't really know Marvel's plans on keeping the series going into the future. This may just be a one-off, a mini-series, or this here just could be part of the Age of Revelation tie-in, and once that story arc is over, this series may die. But in the meantime, you do have a first appearance here, Variable Man, into the team of X-Vengers. So this one here, once again, one you probably want to pick up and add to your collection, go ahead and grab this one. And now for the honorable mentions. From DC Comics, Absolute Batman Annual 2025 #1. This features the origin of the Absolute Batmobile. Now, we put this on the list because this here is part of the Absolute Batman title series, and I mentioned this in numerous videos. The Absolute series has been incredibly popular for DC Comics, huge fan base and collector base for that series alone, and the Absolute Batman title, that is definitely the most popular title in that series. Now, this here features the origin of the Absolute Batmobile. Don't really know how important that's going to be with fans and collectors. This is the origin of a vehicle. So like I said, may not be all that important, but this is part of the Absolute universe, and this here is the origin of this Absolute Batmobile. So maybe worth picking up. Definitely going to be a little more speculative, because I don't know how many people are going to care about that in the future, or how many people are actually going to care about it right now. But being part of the Absolute universe, we did want to include it. So like I said, this is definitely going to be speculative. Grab it for a spec if you can. Next up from IDW, Return to Sleepy Hollow #1. Now this here is the follow-up to Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow movie that takes place 15 years after the Headless Horseman vanished, when Ichabod Crane returns to the haunted town to investigate a string of brutal murders. Now this one here, in my opinion, sounds like it has great option potential for a small screen or big screen project, and the fact that this here is actually a follow-up to Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow movie, this one here has great potential to be picked up. You know, this here is actually an interesting story that I'm surprised Hollywood hasn't picked up on yet. You know, Hollywood loves to do those Return to sequels, and they never really did a Return to Sleepy Hollow. So in my opinion, great option potential, and if this does get picked up an option, you could definitely expect the price to spike on this. I don't think a lot of people are going to pick this up when it hits the shelf today, so this one here, definitely going to be under-collected. Probably not a very big print run on this, and it's definitely going to be undersold. And my bet is there's probably not going to be a lot of retailers that carry this title either, just because this here is somewhat of a niche title. So when you put all those factors together, this has great potential to blow up in the future if this does get picked up an option and collectors do race back and try to find this book. So this one here, definitely speculative, but in my opinion, this is a great spec. Grab this here for a spec if you can. And finally from Dark Horse, Synthetics #1. On a dying Earth plagued by rage gangs and cyber escapism, humanity's last hope may lie with a new kind of human, one that could be our salvation or our doom. Once again, this here sounds easily translatable to the screen. Sounds like it has great option potential. You know, in Dark Horse has had a ton of their titles picked up an option in the past. So this one here will be speculative because you are specking on this getting option, getting a lot more eyes on this title, and getting collectors to race back to the secondary market to find this premiere issue. So this here will be speculative, but in my opinion, a great spec. Grab this here for a spec if you can. So there you have the 7 titles that we have for you guys this week. Definitely some books in there you guys should pick up for your collection. So please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Certified Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.